Hi, my name is Aprilnavedo, and today I'm going to be giving a speech on corporal punishment. Have you ever been in a grocery store and heard a child screaming bloody murder? When you go to investigate, you realize that child is just throwing a major tantrum because he or she wants those cookies or they want that toy, and mom and dad said no. At that very moment, the thought pops in my head, man, that child needs a spanking. Nowadays, people look at spanking your children as a form of child abuse, but I disagree. An effective discipline regimen should include a variety of things, including timeouts, separating kids from activities, logical consequences, and spanking. In this speech, I will discuss the following: in what age range you should spank your children at, and when it is inappropriate to spank, and when it is appropriate to spank your children. To begin, let's discuss at what age range it is appropriate to start spanking. According to wiki.com, when the child is old enough to understand the word no, you can start using spanking as a means of discipline. This could occur as early as approximately 18 months, but it varies by child. Be mindful that the force and amount of spanks should be reduced, maybe a quick pat on the bottom, for very small children, but the framework should be similar. If used properly, once a child has reached the age 6 or 7, spanking will hopefully no longer be necessary. On the other hand, if you have never spanked a child and the child is already 9 or 10, it is probably too late to begin once the patterns of parenting have been so firmly established. Next, I would like to discuss when it is appropriate to spank your children. Spanking children excessively when a parent is angry or over many other scenarios can be considered abusive. If a parent chooses to spank as a form of discipline, he or she may want to consider the following tips to avoid disciplining in an abusive manner. Never spank a child in anger. Never spank a child in front of others with the intention of humiliating or embarrassing that child. Avoid multiple spankings. Reserve the punishment for serious offenses only. Spanking is typically considered inappropriate for infants and children older than age 5. Babies cannot understand, and older than 5 child typically experiences humiliation. Make sure the child understands exactly what wrong behavior he or she is receiving the spanking for. Discuss the issues calmly and discuss ways the behavior can be corrected in the future. Again, spanking should be reserved only for lying and open disobedience, and not used when one feels annoyed. If you do it all the time, it will lose any effectiveness that it might have, and it's just plain mean. For my final point, I would like to discuss when spanking is appropriate to use. First, you must learn which behaviors deserve a spanking. This includes lying and open disobedience. You must be fair with your children. Spilling things, nose picking, bedwetting, arguing, even stealing are normal childhood behaviors that, while they may require action on your part, the parent to help a child mature, they are not spanking offenses. You must let toddlers, children, teens, young adults make mistakes and have normal childhood behaviors. Give your children clear boundaries. Knowing exactly what they can and cannot do is the foundation of happy and successful children that are honest and respectful of their parents and other adults themselves. Give them one warning. If you think that you were not clear the first time, you might have to clarify, but do not give warning after warning and expect any child to be compliant. They will always know that they can push and have their way once you give up. The child must clearly understand that there will be one warning and that's it. If you do this, they will obey at the one warning sign. If you give them 10 warnings, they'll probably never take you seriously. But please, you must take great care when disciplining your child. Be fair, be clear, and make sure that you understand what is going on. You should not turn back once you have declared you've just earned yourself a spanking, young man or young lady. Do the following once you have decided that you must spank your child. Tell them that they're going to be spanked. Take them to a neutral area. If in the home, it should be out of sight of the other children. If at a restaurant or a store, take them outside or to the corner where there are few onlookers. You don't want nobody seeing you spanking your child in public. You never want to embarrass a child in front of siblings or other people any more than necessary for that moment. Once in proper location, carefully explain why they are getting a spanking and precisely the behavior that got them in this inevitable situation. Once the decision is made, do not consider turning back unless you become genuinely convinced that you have misjudged the situation. Explain what is going to happen. You are going to get 5 swats, and then we are going to talk about it for a minute, then it will be over. If possible, have a child lay across your lap with their bottom up. Deliver each swat with an open hand only on their closed bottom, and only hard enough that they feel a mild discomfort. Sit them up and at eye level repeat the explanation, and then have them agree that they will not repeat the behavior again, and then ask them to apologize. Assure them that this is the end of the punishment. However, certain offenses or lack of remorse may require a time of quiet thought, and that you are not going to be angry with them about it. Tell them that you love them. I think that's the most important step. In conclusion, children depend upon structure and routine. This means that all of your discipline, whether or not it includes spanking, should be consistent as much as possible, ritualized. If the punishment for the temper tantrum is early bedtime, it should stay in early bedtime as long as it remains effective. If the child is given corner time after a punishment to consider their actions, that should happen as much as possible, every time. Whether the decision is when to use spanking as punishment, how and when to explain their punishment, and the reason for it, or whatever, you should be consistent. Structure and ritual keys for childhood development. Parenting can be Parenting can be frustrating and a difficult job, but clear, concise, and fair discipline, including loving, administering spankings, will raise a child to be respectful and well behaved, and will be a joy for everyone to be around. Just remember, never spank your child out of anger, and be fair.